The 10th plague. The Lord told Moses that he would bring one last plague to Egypt. It would be so terrible that Pharaoh would go down on his knees and beg the Israelites to leave. At midnight, each firstborn son in Egypt would die. Even livestock would not be spared. The firstborn cattle and sheep would also die. But the Israelites would not suffer, and not one of their children would be harmed. Moses approached Pharaoh yet again, as he had done so many times before, to plead for the Israelites' freedom and to give him God's chilling message. But Pharaoh did not believe him, and Moses came away seething with rage. Then the Lord told Moses and his brother Aaron that from now on, this would be the beginning of the Israelites' year. Instead of the first month of harvest, it was early spring, and that night there was a new moon. On the 10th day of the first month, each Israelite household must choose the best firstborn lamb and prepare it for slaughter. It should be a 1-year-old. 4 days later, at dusk, the lamb must have its throat slit, and its blood was to be used to mark the door of the house. That night there should be a feast, with the meat roasted over the fire and eaten with bitter herbs and special bread made without yeast. God said that this would be the very night when he would pass through Egypt, and all the firstborn sons, cattle, and sheep would die. But he would see the bloody marks on the Israelites' doors, and they would be safe. Moses listened and then summoned all the elders of the Israelites to him. He told them what was going to happen in 2 weeks' time, and told them what they must do. It will be known as the Passover sacrifice to the Lord, because he will pass over the houses of the Israelites in Egypt and spare our homes when he strikes down the Egyptians, he said. And from that time on, the Passover feast must be celebrated for all times. So 2 weeks later, the Israelites slaughtered their lambs and roasted them over the fire. They smeared their doors with blood, then tightly closed them against the night, uncertain of what was to come. They feasted on the roasted meat with bitter herbs, wild lettuce, endives, and nettle, and unleavened bread. At midnight, when the moon hung heavy in the sky, the Lord passed silently over Egypt, just as he had promised, and killed all the firstborn sons as they lay sleeping. And he wiped out all the firstborn cattle and sheep too. After he came and went, the dead lay in their beds and in their cots and in their fields. Howls of grief were heard as the people discovered their lifeless sons. Soon a wailing filled the air as the scale of the horror was revealed. Sorrow and terror swept the country. Not one Egyptian household had escaped the massacre, not even Pharaoh's. Beating his breast, he summoned Moses and Aaron and sobbed, "Leave my people, you and the Israelites. Go worship the Lord as you have requested. Take your flocks and your herds and go. Have pity on me." The Israelites left immediately, asking the Egyptians for silver and gold and clothing, as Moses told them to do. They had lived in Egypt for 430 years, and at last they had been released from their slavery. 600,000 men, women, and children set off on foot with their flocks and herds at the start of their long journey.